Who's a good kitty? Who's a good kitty? He's a good kitty. He's a good kitty. Who's a good girl? What are you doing? Get over here. All right, good. Play with those. Squirrel, come here. Come here. Who's a good kitty? Come here. That's a good girl. Where you going? Come here. All right, forget it. Who's a good kitty? Come here. People, I am so glad I was not cursing at the cat. Guess there's no intro today, but that's all right. We're sitting in a different room. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the Lifeboat. And Squirrel is disassembling the house because at this point, we have broken a routine. Like human beings, cats thrive on routine. So I'm in a room she doesn't hang out of the basket in, and she would like to disassemble everything I've got set up in order to do a live feed. But we'll get through it. Today, we're going to talk about something really important. I was talking to one of my favorite people in the entire world recently, and we were talking about growing a set of bold beliefs. And the person said, I got a problem with being bold. If you have a problem with something, how do you fix it? Come on. This is an easy one. This is an easy one. If you have a problem with anything, how do you fix it? Well, you get out a piece of paper and you get out a pen, you write down what the problem is. And then you write down things that you can do to fix it. One of the problems with bold and being bold is that we don't take any kind of bold action on the smallest things in life. If you don't take any action on the smallest things in life, and this is on everything, this goes across the board to absolutely everything. If you don't take action on the smallest things in your life by being bold, then you certainly aren't going to take any action on the biggest things of your life being bold. If you want to change the biggest things in your life, you don't start by trying to change the biggest things in your life. We've been talking about this for 3 days. You start by making your bed. Small things. You start by what you see every single day. Pick things up, clean things up. The stuff that you see all of the time will determine who you are. For real. You walk into your house, you walk into your room, it's a mess. Your life is a mess. You're looking at it. It determines your reality. If you say, I'm going to take 6 minutes and I'm going to clean this room. Can you clean the room in 6 minutes? I had a room that took me 3 weeks to clean. I'm not being funny. It took 3 weeks to clean. I lived in Salt Lake City, Utah. I had destroyed this house so badly, it took 3 weeks to clean our bedroom. But you can take 6 minutes and say, I can't break this off. This is too much, man. I'm going to go completely insane trying to change this room. I can't handle this. Take 6 minutes. Pick up 4 shirts, put them on hangers. Pick up 3 things, socks, whatever. Throw them in the hamper. Get 1 load of laundry. Just put up in the hamper and then stop. 6 minutes, you're good. Spend 6 more minutes and do it again. You start changing the small things. The big things are possible to change. If not, you're wasting your time. So if you're having problems with being bold, how do you change being bold? Well, you got to start by being bold in small things. So my question is, she wants to stand on the keyboard. My question is this. How much do you pay for your cell phone bill? How much do you pay for your cell phone bill? If you're saying $70 a month, $50 a month, $35 a month, you have a cell phone service and you've had it for 3 years, call them and yell at them. I'm dead serious. Call them and yell at them. Hey, you know what? I'm paying $60 a month for my cell phone bill. I'm looking at ads on TV for consumer cellular at $15. I'm looking for ads on TV for this company that want 30. Why am I paying 50? Mark my words, they'll lower your bill. They'll lower your bill. But we put up with people who treat us poorly. We put up with people that take advantage of us, and we don't stand up for ourselves, and we're never bold. If you're not bold on the small things, you're not going to be bold on the big things. What are the big things? Well, let's say you've been working at the same job for 4 years and you haven't got a raise. Let me tell you something. That's not the world's standard. If you've been working for 4 years at the same gig, they owe you a raise. Plain and simple. They owe you a raise. Nobody works 4 years at the same gig and doesn't get a raise. Do you know why you haven't gotten a raise in 4 years? Because you haven't asked for a raise. You walk into a boss's office and you sit down and go, you know what? It occurred to me that in the last 4 years, I've taken 3 sick days. Every single time you've called me and said, Bobby called in again. Can you come in and cover? I've done it. My work is always done. I don't come late. I don't leave early. I'm not going to continue to work for the amount of money that I'm working for now. I'm worth more than that. And if you don't see that, I'm going to find an employer that does. Let me tell you the nightmare of finding an employee. My brother knows, because we had a place one time where we had about 70 of them. And hiring an employee who's good requires hiring 40 employees that are bad. They don't work out, you fire them, they quit, they do drugs. Your employer will give you a raise because they don't want to have to start that entire process of trying to find new people. What are you worth? You know the answer to that question? Whatever the hell you believe you're worth. Sadly, because we're drug addicts and alcoholics, we have been telling ourselves for a very long time that we're not worth anything. You don't believe me, do you? Oh, believe me. Have you ever asked yourself the question, why can't I get sober? Have you ever asked yourself the question, why can't I lose any weight? Well, that's a dumb question. If you ask dumb questions, you get dumb answers. Because that's really not the question. You've just told your brain that you can't get sober. You've just told your brain that you can't lose weight. What answer do you think you're going to get? You're going to get ants that crawl all over your brain. Why can't I lose any weight? The answer is going to go, because you're a fat pig. You got no self-control. Your mom didn't love you, right? You were a loser in school. Couldn't get a chick. It's the wrong question. If you ask the question, what do I got to do to lose weight? Ooh, now you've got a good question. Good questions get good. I hope you all said answers. Good questions get good answers. What do I got to do to lose weight? That's a good question. What do I got to do to quit doing dope? That's a good question. Why am I always screwing up? That's a bad question. And you'll get bad answers because you're a loser, because your mom didn't love you. You weren't breastfed. You spent too much time doing this. You didn't spend enough time doing that. You blew off school. You'll convince yourself that you can't get sober. You'll convince yourself you're a loser. You ask dumb questions, you get dumb answers. If we want to improve our lives, we're going to start asking good questions. And we ask them on paper, by the way. Write down, what have I got to do to get sober? You know, the simple answer would be what? Well, I need to quit doing drugs. I need to quit drinking. But that's not really an answer, is it? I mean, that is what sober means. It's the definition of sober. A good answer would be, I've got to start revamping my life in such a way that the things that I do every single day, I take control over. Science tells us that 80% of what we do every single day is just reflex. It's the part of our brain that says, he just did this, it's time to do that. He just did this, it's time to do that. She just did this, it's time to do that. Reaction. The reactionary part of your brain makes up 80% of what you do every single day. So that's what you change. People go, it's not about making my bed, Tommy. It's about making more money. It's not about making my bed. It's about quitting doing dope. Well, guess what? You've set a goal here and you've refused to learn how to tie your shoes to climb the mountain. If you want to climb a mountain, learn how to tie your friggin' shoes so you can begin that climb. How do you learn to tie your shoes? The things that you do every single day, you need to start taking control over. Is your room a mess? You got McDonald's bags on the floor of your car. Okay. Don't expect to win an Academy Award. Don't expect to get a promotion. Don't expect to believe that you're better than you are if you ride to work in a garbage pail that has 4 wheels on it. How easy is it to clean a car? But you haven't done that. How easy is it to clean your room? Walk into your room and look around, spend 5 minutes and say, if I had 5 minutes, what could I do to make this place better? Well, here's the thing. None of this happens without being bold. Every one of us has somebody that we look to, maybe 3 or 4 people we look to, and we go, that dude's a winner. That woman's a winner. We think of them and we think, that person makes things happen. I got news for you. They're mediocre people. For real. Do you know how I know this? Because I've been blessed in my life to meet a ton of famous people. I have. A ton. When we did the charity that we did out of Canada, we met so many people in that charity that were world famous. Some of the most famous people on the planet. And you know what you find out? You find out they're normal. They're average. They're average. They're mediocre. I've had conversations with people. I've told this story before. I was on an airplane with a president of the United States. Secret Service, all of it. Former president. If I tell you which one, people are going to crap all over me. I go back and watch old lifeboats and you'll find out what president. But you think to yourself, this is the president of the United States. This man was the leader of the free world at one time. We were fighting to get out of the chair next to him. He was one of the most boring human beings I've ever met. The conversation was absolutely dull. I would rather talk to anybody on the lifeboat. I was blown away. How in hell did this man become president? I mean, you talk about an average human being. How the hell did this man become president? You know the answer? He was bold as hell. He was bold as hell. The people that you look at that you think are exceptional are bold. They're not exceptional. They're bold. Have you ever watched a comedian and said, that dude's not funny? That dude is not funny. But he's got an HBO special. Well, maybe it's not your brand of humor, but he got up on stage in front of people who were going to mock him or laugh at him. That takes a set of bold values you wouldn't believe. Trust me, I've done stand-up. Not very often. Didn't enjoy it. Had to do it in college. Had to do a set of stand-up. 10 minutes out at an open mic night. You want to talk about, I don't have a problem getting up in front of people. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. I did a bit on pawn shops and actually did really pretty well. Somebody came up afterwards and said, man, you should think about doing this. I said, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell. It's not something I enjoyed. I'm not doing things I don't enjoy. But I got up there on that stage. Do you know why? Because if not, I was going to have to write things down, right? This was a class that there were papers, there were all kinds of things. If I went and killed this, I could avoid letting the world see how bad I was at writing. So I was willing to get up and do whatever. Desperation does beautiful things for bold. Believe that. The entire free world was saved by 18, 19, and 20-year-olds in the 40s. The entire free world. We'd be speaking German. There wouldn't be a black or a Jew on the planet. Let that sink in. Who saved that world? 18 and 19-year-olds. And they volunteered. They couldn't go down there fast enough to volunteer. Bold? Forget about it. Seriously, watch the first 10 minutes of Saving Private Ryan. How about that sales pitch? We're going to hit the beach. There are going to be guys in concrete buildings with 50 caliber machine guns that are going to be mowing you down. If the person in front of you gets shot, make sure that you pick up any ammunition that person has dropped right in front of you before you keep going. Then when you get up there and you're directly underneath all of that fire, you're going to have to set up these things called Bangalore torpedoes. They're long tubes that you have to screw together to blow the fences out of the way. While you're doing that, there will be people shooting 50 caliber machine guns at you. The vast majority of you hearing my voice will not be alive tonight. They stormed those beaches. Bold? Forget about it. Forget about it. So how do you become bold? Like every friggin' thing else in life, are you really going to sit over there? Get in your basket. Hey, get over here. Like every single thing in life, you're going to make a decision to be bold. You feel different right now than you did at the start of this lifeboat. Do you know why that is? Because I'm not filming from behind the desk. True story. I'm not filming from behind the desk. I have raised my voice 3 octaves. And it changes how you feel, doesn't it? And that's not even your physiology. It's mine. But it's changing how you feel, isn't it? Believe it is. You visualize yourself being bold. And I guarantee you what will happen. There's an exercise I've seen public speakers do in the past. Tell you what I want you to do real quick. We'll steal something from some really great public speakers. All right? I can't see any of you. I want you to look around your room right now. And I want you to look for every single thing that you can see in the room that is red. All right? Look around right now. Just look around and start counting how many things you can see in your room. Do it. How many things can you see in your room that are red? Look around. All right, close your eyes. How many things did you see that were blue? Didn't see a damn blue thing, did you? You know why? Because you weren't looking for blue. We go after what we look for. We recognize what we look for. You walk into a room that's dirty and you're looking for failure. Whether you realize it or not, you are looking for failure. When I say look around the room and look for every single thing that you could that is red, a lot of you cheated. Saw something that was burgundy, saw something that was heather, but you're starting to try to count something that's red and you start looking for it. What we look for in life, we achieve. Look for sobriety. Look for success. Look for making yourself the best damn version of you that you can be. Is this rah-rah? Yeah, it is. The vast majority of us need some rah-rah. But let me tell you something. In the last 3 or 4 days, I have changed how I'm doing videos in a very big way. Not just the message, but how the message is delivered. If you change your physiology, you will change your attitude. I'm changing attitudes because I'm getting emails from you. And it's not your physiology. I'm raising my voice. Do an experiment with me for the next 3 minutes. For real. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the exact same message that I am delivering to you right now. But I want you to sit back like this, and I want you to slouch. All right? And just slouch like that. And if I say, what you look for in life, the things that you seek are the things that you're going to find. Our brain is hardwired to go after that which we see. But we choose what we look at. You can walk into a room that has gold all over the counter, but if you're not looking for gold, it's not what you're going to see. And we have trained ourselves to look for failure. We have trained ourselves to look for reasons that we are not successful. Plain and simple. So if you want to change your life, you're going to start changing what you're looking for. When you walk into rooms, you're going to be looking for different things. Everything that you do is going to be a step forward in trying to be more successful. Are you having fun? Are you feeling motivated with me sitting like this and talking to you like that? Okay, now, I want you to lean forward. All right? I want you to lean forward. I want you to fill your lungs with some air. And now I'm going to tell you the exact same thing. You walk into a room and there's gold on the counter, but you're not looking for gold, you're not going to see it. Because we spend our life seeking out the things we look for. Same message. 5 seconds after the last message. Does this feel like the same message to you? It's not. Why? Well, because you're raising your voice. No. Because I'm being bold. Because I don't care if I'm offending anybody. Because I'm going to talk to you the way that you have to talk to people sometimes when you want to get their attention. If you begin to change your physiology, if you put yourself in a state that says, today, mine, it'll be your day. But we don't do that. We walk out the door and we drag ass. We do. Did you get a look at the thumbnail? Right? I don't think they can catch, the algorithm won't catch this one. What was the thumbnail? It was a baseball player holding two what? Balls. It's time to grow a set. And I don't care what your gender is, but you know the term, don't you? There's something different between being bold and growing a set of nuts, having some balls. Offensive, huh? Gets your attention. The people in this world who are successful have balls. The people in this world who are successful are bold to a fault. The guy that started McDonald's 13 times filed bankruptcy. Walt Disney, a dozen. Bankruptcies. What's a bankruptcy? It's I failed. My business didn't work. I tried, didn't work, failed. The difference between them and the next guy who filed bankruptcy and is still driving the same car that he had 15 years ago is that one of them said, "Bet I gave it a shot. Obviously, this whole success thing isn't for me. Being an entrepreneur, not for me." The rest of them said, "No, nope, I'm going to keep failing until I succeed. I'm going to get knocked down and I'm going to get back up. And I'm going to get knocked down and I'm going to get back up. And if it happens 10 times, I'm going to get up 11. I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm not taking no for an answer." When I was a drug addict, I met a guy named Rex. Rex had money. Rex was hellaciously dishonest. He was not a very nice person in a lot of ways. I happen to really like the guy, but he was not a very nice person and he was really, really dishonest. But I said to him, "I have an idea for a way to make money." And I explained the whole concept to him. I was on heroin, but I walked into this man's house and he said, "Have a seat. Tell me about your business idea." Flew me out to his house on Lake Ontario in New York. I didn't bother sitting down. You see, I owed about $150,000. I was going to lose my house. My cars were going to be gone. I was in deep, deep trouble. And I had a $3,000 a day heroin habit. No joke. Right? This is the days when heroin was $340, $320 a gram. And I didn't know enough yet to shoot it. You know, I was smoking it like it was going out of style all day long. You can't keep coming up with that kind of money. So I didn't sit down. Desperation is a great motivator. I walked around and literally 15 minutes into it, he said, "Hey, I'll give you the money. We'll do this together. I'll give you the money. Have a seat. Take a deep damn breath. You're scaring me." Was the pitch good? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But I'll tell you what, it was emphatic. It was bold. I said, "I guarantee you we can make $20 million doing this." We did 56 million. That video is still on the internet. You can go find it. It's not hard to find. In fact, trolls have all talked about it. The trolls like to point out that it was a video I did to rip people off. Yeah, I mentioned that to the entire world about 45 times. But they feel like Sherlock Holmes when they figure it out. Bold. You want more in life? Then don't do the same damn thing you're doing today, tomorrow, and hope that you're going to get more out of life. How many of us have spent the last 5 years saying, if I quit doing dope, I'm going to get everything I want. If I stop drinking, I'm going to get everything I want. You're just sober. You understand? You're at base camp. Sadly, drugs don't make you bold. They don't. They might make you stupid, right? Walking into a bank isn't bold. It's stupid. And saying, give me all the money? Not bold. Dumb. Big difference. You want to live your best life, it's going to require courage. It's going to require courage. If you do something and it doesn't scare you, right? You walk into a bank and you're not scared to rob it. That's not courage. Courage is when something scares the crap out of you and you do it anyway. So this base camp concept, is it scary? Yeah. We've determined on the lifeboat 5,000 freaking times that your brain wants to continue doing the same thing it has done forever. That's what makes us drug addicts. The brain doesn't like change. Now we're slapping the crap out of it, right? I'm not giving you dope anymore. You're going to have to start giving me dopamine for what you were supposed to give me dopamine for. Loving my daughter, loving my son, working hard, building a better life, believing in God, right? The things that are supposed to give me dopamine, you're going to start feeding me. Well, the brain's not happy with that. It's not. So it pisses off your body, makes your left knee hurt like hell, right? Had a surgery on that one once. Both shoulders starts making them hurt like hell. Well, what do? We tap out. We go buy some dope. Oh, this hurts. I'm not going to deal with pain. Funny thing is, keep slapping the crap out of your brain for another couple of weeks. Keep slapping the crap out of your brain for the couple more weeks. And all of a sudden, your brain goes, well, fine. If he's not going to do it, give him a little dopamine. He's starting to piss me off. And now you start getting dopamine for loving your kids. You start getting dopamine for cleaning your freaking bedroom. You get a little dopamine shot, an itty bitty little one, for making your bed. I said 3 days ago, I think it was 3 days ago, squirrel 3 days ago, cat ignores me. 3 days ago, I said I've been phoning it in. And I went back to the basics. I stopped slumping my freaking shoulders. Believe it. I walked around like this. You roll your shoulders back, right? You take deep breaths, abdomen, chest, clavicular, right? ACC breathing. You get all of that crap filled up. You start actually getting some oxygen to the brain. You start eating 3 meals a day. I just went back to the basics. Stuff that I hadn't been doing. Back to the basics. And all of a sudden, I started getting fired up. I started realizing that I was really good at the watch thing when I first started. Why? Because I was scared crapless. Because I had just spent every single penny I had on the planet. And then I borrowed exactly what I had from somebody else who required payments with interest. I was terrified. Right? This was a dream of mine my entire life. What happens if I fail? I got to tell people that it was a stupid dream or something. It scared the hell out of me. So I attacked it. I didn't wait for the phone to ring. I didn't wait for people. I started showing up at any place that sold watches, carrying in 12, 13 of them. I made business happen. But then business started to happen. And I started making enough money. So what did I do? I stopped doing the things that made it successful. That doesn't mean it was failing, because it wasn't. But where would it have been if I kept doing it the way I did it in the beginning? I don't know. Ask your significant other that. Ask your husband. Where would our relationship be if I treated you the same way today and for the last 5 years that I did for the first 2 weeks? Ask your wife. Where do you think we would be if I never made you take out the trash? Because when we first got together, I didn't make you take out the trash. In fact, I didn't let you do anything that even resembled guy work, right? I got that for you. No, I got that. Hey, don't do that. Good meal. I'll wash the dishes. Where are you 4 or 5 months later with your feet on the couch, watching her do the dishes? Hey, babe, can you grab me a drink when you're done with that? That's who we become, isn't it? So where would my business be? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Trust and believe. I'm going to find out. The lifeboat has gained massive momentum 3 times. 3 times I've let that momentum die. And then I chalk it up to Mother Nature, or I chalk it up to what season it is or what YouTube is. But then I started going back and looking at my journal, and I can match my journal to the videos. And I can tell you without looking at the videos, I can go to my journal and go, look up about March 15th and watch how bad that video was. Look at June 11th. Watch how bad that video sucked. Because my attitude went to hell in a handbasket. And I started phoning in the lifeboat. I started phoning in my my watch business. I started phoning in trying to help people, which is a friggin' sin. Thank God that I wasn't phoning it in when a valued crew member took her own life. Because I don't know what the hell I would have happened to me. I don't. Because it almost killed me. And I was working my butt off. That was during a time where I was fired up about this channel. What are you phoning in? And why are you phoning it in? Why? Complacency? You've just been doing it too long? You no longer need to give it the effort you used to do? What's the reason? See, I haven't figured that one out yet. I really haven't. I'm working on it. I'm reading my journal like it's a novel, trying to figure out what stopped it. Is it fear of success? Because I got to a success level. Was I afraid to get to the next one? Because I don't know how to deal with success? Was I thinking, you know what? If this thing gets to $500,000 a year, I might just become a junkie. I don't know. It's a possibility. It really is. But let me tell you something. I'm going to find out. You know why? Because I'm not phoning anything in on my sobriety ever again. For real. I've been in relapse for months. For months. But I was making my bed. Right? I was getting up and doing the really small things. I was. Because the small things have always been the canary in the coal mine. If I'm not making my bed, I know I'm in trouble. It's glaring. I know I'm in trouble. If I'm not cleaning squirrel's kitty litter, I'm in trouble. I know something's wrong with me. If I'm not journaling, I'm in deep trouble. I know I'm in deep trouble. I know I'm in relapse. But you know what's happened, people? Those have become habits. Those have become things that I'm never going to not do again. I don't even have to think about them anymore. Didn't realize this until a couple of days ago. No joke. But I don't have to think about it anymore. Those things are ingrained. Those are like doing dope used to be. Making my bed, I don't even think about that crap. Journaling, I journal. I journal. It's what I do. So what's the new canary in the coal mine? Well, I think it's phoning it in. Am I phoning in my videos? Am I not calling my girl and telling her I love her enough? What am I phoning in? Because that's the new canary in the coal mine. You understand what I'm telling you? I'm telling you that I did the small stuff that helps you be successful long enough that I don't have to think about them anymore. You know what that's called? That's called success. Trouble is, success sometimes leads to one of two outcomes. We sit back and we go, cool, I'm a success. Or we go, where can I take this? Where can I take this? I told you I've been reading Sammy Hagar's book. By the way, would not advise that you live your life like Sammy Hagar did in any way, shape, or form. But I'm reading his book. And this guy's 75 years old and he's still doing it. He's still doing it. That guy's doing 50 shows a year or something. At 75, still got his voice. How did that happen? Then you start looking at Quarter Flash. You guys remember Quarter Flash? How about the Knack? Remember the Knack? Thompson Twins. Any of these ringing a bell? These bands that got in there and did one album and you went, damn, wow. I mean, that's a great album. Boston. But you never saw a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth. You look at these guys that have done 20 albums. You look at a guy that's had a top-selling tour or a gold album in 5 consecutive decades. The Elton Johns, the Billy Joels. How the hell does that happen? Well, I'll tell you how it happened. They continue to get a new canary in the coal mine. If they're not going in and working, they go, oh, something's wrong. They don't set that bar at here. I stopped making my bed. Well, I got news for you. Just like tolerance. Tolerance. We've talked about this. Your brain says, he gives me a gram and there's just too much dopamine running around the brain. This is absolutely horrible. We can't release the same amount of dopamine every day like this. We're going to kill the guy. So it releases less dopamine on that gram. So what do? You do 1.5 grams. And for a week that works. And then the brain goes, oh, no, here we go again. Now you got to do 3 grams to get to where a gram used to be. Well, the same thing happens with success. Believe it. I used to literally feel like a success story because I got up, I made my bed, there wasn't clothing on the floor, right? Because for 46 years, I was a bum. Yeah, for real. I was a bum. And then I learned how to start doing the right things to actually get what I want in life. And those things made me excited. They made me raise my friggin' voice. They made me be bold. Yeah. A person calls you on the phone and it's the first time the damn phone rings and you go, a better time, vintage watches. I'm so friggin' excited that phone rang. I'm not letting this person off the phone without buying a watch. I'm in deep trouble. I owe 6 figures. That person's not getting off this phone without buying a watch. 6 months later, the phone rings and you go, damn it. Better time. You got to keep setting the bar higher. And you got to keep having the canary in the coal mine be a different thing. If I don't try to sell every single person that rings my phone, I'm in trouble. Not because I'm not going to make a living. I'm doing great. I'm all right. But because I'm not trying to be better. People, can you imagine what it would feel like to get 6 feet from the top of Mount Everest? Start doing a little research on the people who climbed Everest and how many times somebody turned away at 100 yards. Storms coming in, doing whatever they got to do. Turned away at 100 yards. Turned away at 70 feet. Didn't stand on the highest point of the earth. Spent their life trying to, but did not stand on the highest peak of the earth. And you say, yeah, I mean, those kind of goals. I worked at Snowbird, Utah. I worked for a man named Dick Bass. Dick Bass said things like fixing all the time. I'm fixing to do this. I'm fixing to do that. But when he got to Snowbird, there was nothing there. He drove up the mountain and he looked at it and said, that is going to be a ski area. The guy had vision. Wasn't really even much of a skier, but he became one. And as he started to become a skier, he also started to become an athlete. And above the age of 60, he summited the 5 highest points on the planet. Above the age of 60. And he did it without oxygen. Holy hell. Very interesting cat, Texan, who opens up a ski area. Wore a big cowboy hat. But I said to him, I just bought your book. I think it's, and it wasn't the 6 peaks, it was the 7. I think it's called Summiting the 7 Peaks or some crap like that. But I'm like, man, you did that at that age. I said, man, that's incredible. He was like, it was pretty good. I said, man, how do you do that? I swear to God, you know what the man said to me? Well, you tried to do it. That's the first start. You want to climb Everest? Don't try to climb K2. Go climb Everest. What do you want? Why do you want it? And what are you willing to do to get it? That last one, right? You know what that's called? How bold are you willing to go? Are you willing to go into a bank to borrow money to start a business and have them say, no, you're an idiot. And instead of going home and kicking the dirt and looking like, oh, shucks. No, I'm going to another bank and another bank and another bank. And if I hit every bank in the city, I'm going to find another city. Well, those are the Walt Disneys of the world. Those are the Ray Krocs. Got to start at McDonald's. Those are the people who don't take no for an answer. You know what we call that? Bold. That's what we call that. Grow a set of bold values, of bold beliefs. Got a scenario for you. What if you do all of the work in the company that you're in, because I know people who they're the reason that the business is successful. I made Rex $56 million. I did it. It was me. I wrote the infomercial. I storyboarded the infomercial. I found the host. I did all of it. I made $500,000. For real. $500,000 is a lot of money. But not when your partner makes $56 million. It was rough. And he knew the idiot I was. Because when I told him I was pissed about it, he bought me an 18-karat Cartier wristwatch with some diamonds on it. And it shut me up for a while. But when he wanted to do the second infomercial, I was bold. I walked in and said, I got news for you. I was the reason the last one is successful. And I ain't doing this one for $500,000. You want me to do this one? You're going to give me a fat chunk of it. He didn't. He didn't. But it wasn't a success either. I mean, he made some money, but he sure as hell didn't make $56 million. We were in the process of putting the third one together when he was murdered. Bold. I put together a deal with him, with Rex, called the Ounce of Prevention. We took it to a company in New York that evaluates companies to tell you how much money you could make, because it wasn't about helping people get sober. I mean, that certainly looked like that on paper, but it was about how rich I could get. And we got out into the parking lot, and Rex said to me, how much do you think it's going to cost to get the thing off the ground? Because they told us $15 million to do it, right? And I said, I can do it for $5 million. And he said, for $5 million, I'll put up $5 million and you can take 40% of the company. I pointed a finger at him. Technically, I pointed the finger at the sky, just in his general direction. I said, no way in hell. No way in hell. You're not a drug addict. You don't know what to talk about. This is me. You know how glad I am I didn't do that? For real. Do you have any idea how glad I am I didn't do that? See, now I'm living the dream. But the dream was wrong. If I had written it down, what is it you want to do? I want to talk to parents about how to raise drug-free kids. I want to talk to people on drugs to try to help them get sober. Why do you want to do it? To get rich beyond your wildest dreams, to drive Ferraris, right? To sleep with girls half my age and to act like a jackass. When you put stuff down on paper, it will tell you what an idiot you are. You hear me? You put down your goal on paper and write why the hell you want that goal. And if it's a stupid reason, you're going to know by the time you're done writing that it is a stupid reason. I didn't do that back then. But I wrote down what my goal was for this channel before I got rolling. I want to help people not end up like I did. Why do you want to do it? Because there's nothing worse in this planet than being a slave to a substance. There's nothing worse in this planet than having to call somebody who hates you and have them show up and look at them like they are the Lord while you hand them $100. That's going to get you happy for 3 hours. That's hell on this planet. There was nothing on there about money. And I'm not going to lie to you. The lifeboat's been a pretty bad business venture, right? I hemorrhage money on the lifeboat, but I make enough money on the other one so that I can do that. And I get more out of this channel than I get out of all of the money I make on the other business. If I had to give one up, I'd give up the watches. True story. I don't mean playing with them. I just mean I would give up the business. I would never give up watches. I love them. But if I had to do one of these things, and only one of these things, then this is what I would do. Because this gets me high. You get it? This gets me high. I'm talking to somebody right now that I care really deeply about, who is really, really bad off. Not as a human being, but drugs own this person. It's got this person's number. And this person, next week, midweek, this person's not going to be on drugs anymore. There's arrangements being made so that this person is going to no longer go and see a dope man anymore. And that gets me high. In a big, big freaking way. So if you're in a business and the only damn reason that that business is successful is because of you, you need to walk into your partner or business owner's office and say, hey, let's talk. It has occurred to me that I'm about 60% of the success of this company, but I'm not making 60% of the money in this company. And I'm cool with that, but I'm not cool with the money I'm making. So why don't we figure out a better plan here before you lose me and I walk out the door? Because I'll tell you something. If I can make you a success, then I can make somebody else a success. And I can find another partner. And I can walk in there and say, here's my resume. You see that jackwagon? I made him rich. I'd like to make you rich too. Just not quite as rich as that jackass. What do you think? The first jackwagon, he's going to sit down and negotiate. He's going to tell you, oh, I think you might need a little bit more money. And if he doesn't, then you boldly walk out of that door. You don't walk back in and go, oh, sorry. I don't know. I got kind of hair across my butt. And I thought maybe I'd push it a little and see what happened. No, you walk in and say, hey, it's been fun, but I really am the reason that this place is a success. And a day is coming in the very near future where you're going to call me and you're going to beg me to walk back into this office. And there has never been enough money printed to get me to walk through that door. They haven't printed that much. I wish you the best of luck without me. And then go to get your other new partner and become the success that you were freaking supposed to be from day one. Now, don't be an idiot. If you're not the reason that the business is a success, don't go in there and get yourself fired. What do you want? I want a raise. I want to know how much money I'm getting paid. I want to know whatever. Okay, why do you want it? What are you willing to do to get it? If the bold part is walking through the door, I used to do trainings for salespeople, 100 people in a room. And it's the funniest stuff in the whole world. Honest to God. Johnny saw it. It's the funniest stuff in the whole world. I would get in and I'd start doing my spiel or whatever. And I would pick somebody in the front row and I'd walk up and I'd say, so you get to the end of your pitch. How do you ask for the cash? And every time, without fail, maybe 3 or 4 times somebody would answer the question. But 90% of the time, if not more, somebody would say, what do you mean? What do I mean? How do you ask for the money? You're a salesman. You get to the end of a sale, you got to ask for the money. There are salesmen, people who make a living selling things on this planet, who just keep talking until someone goes, all right, I'll give you some money. For real. And they do it their entire career because they're not bold enough to believe in what they're selling or believe in themselves enough to say, hey, all right, Visa starts with a 4, MasterCard starts with a 5. How are we going to cover this 10 grand today? I have said that phrase. If I'm exaggerating, people, may the world swallow me up. I have said that phrase 50,000 times. Visa starts with a 4, MasterCard starts with a 5. How are we going to pull the trigger on this today? Let's do this. And then be bold enough to sit in silence until they said something. Let me tell you something about silence. It's uncomfortable. Really is. Public speakers stop talking and get silent, and everybody in the room starts doing this one. I used to do it just for laughs sometimes. Silence is uncomfortable. You asked for the money, and then you shut your mouth and you wait for the person, because the next person that talks loses. Right? It's just about being bold. It doesn't matter if you're a salesman. It doesn't matter if you're whatever you're doing. The people in life who have what they want asked for it, asked for help to get it, made a list of what they wanted, why they wanted it, and what they were willing to do to get it. They made, are you ready? A schedule. They took out a piece of paper and wrote down what they were going to do every day. Google's got one built into the computer. You could just go there. Oh, Tommy, I hate schedules. I'm not doing that. Are you kidding me? It's like being in prison. Well, if you're an idiot, it is. For real. Think about this concept for a second. You are making a schedule. If the schedule makes you uncomfortable, then you're the dumbest person on the planet, right? You're the one making it. You want your business to be a success, you might have to put 4 extra hours a day in on it. Well, that means you get to choose what you do for the rest of the day, right? Put down a massage. Put down spending time with your girlfriend or boyfriend, right? Put down eating peppers. Whatever it is that makes you happy, you make the schedule. I love it when people go, I tried doing that. It just pissed me off. Well, then you're dumb. I mean, truthfully stupid. You make your own schedule and you don't like it? Well, then you're dumb. Holy hell. What do you really love doing? I love playing tennis. Okay. Why don't you whack 2 hours a day out to go play tennis? But when you're not playing tennis, you're going to bust your ass at being successful, right? It's your schedule. Reward yourself for the things that you're doing correctly. I like playing video games. Bust 2 hours out a day to play video games. Schedule yourself the things that you love doing, but they're a reward for the things that you need to be doing. If you start your schedule with the things that are fun to do, guess what? You're not going to do the things that have to be done. That sounds like common sense, doesn't it? I wrote a really funny piece once. I know Fiona's read it. I don't know who else has, but I wrote a really funny piece once about common sense, common courtesy, right? They should all be called uncommon, right? Uncommon sense, uncommon courtesy. Because there's common sense is so uncommon, it's incredible. Courtesy? You're gonna tell me courtesy is common in this world? No. But common sense on your own schedule, holy hell. You get to make it. Put in there what makes you happy. And make sure that what you've done is rewarded yourself for the hard work necessary to build the life you want. I'll work 12 hours a day. And then I'm going to go get a 1 hour massage because it makes me really happy. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Figure out how much time you got to put in to be a success. And then give it 1 more hour a day. For real. You say, absolutely, Tommy, for 4 hours a day, I could get rich. If I put 4 hours a day, and I don't mean farting around and sitting at your desk and going, hey, we're in business. And then, organize my pencils. I'm talking about getting to it, sitting down and saying, this is it. I called someone today. And I said to him, there are 2 of the most beautiful watches I've ever seen in my entire life. One of them is worth about $65,000 today. On today's market, ain't great. 6 months ago, this was a $100,000 watch. No one's ever worn it. It's as old as I am, or close to it. Still in the box. And the guy said, and you want to borrow a lot of money to buy this watch? I said, oddly enough, I have to buy 2 watches because the guy that's selling it is selling it as a package deal. This is probably the worst time in the history of the economy to try to borrow money from somebody for a business. But I need these 2 watches. Now, I could get by without them, but not if I'm attacking this business. Not if I'm being bold. No. How do you take a business that's doing this and you take it to that? Well, you take some risks and you step out of your comfort zone. If you live in your comfort zone, you don't know what bold is. You hear that? You hear that people say that all the time. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to step out of your comfort zone. Do you even know what that means? I'm not being disrespectful. Do you have any idea what that means? If you are uncomfortable asking somebody for a loan, you are doing the right thing. Believe that. Those who live in their comfort zone also live in very small houses. They drive very old cars and they don't smile a lot because they're not going after the things that they want in life. The people who spend about 30% of their waking hours outside their comfort zone live wherever they want. They do whatever they want. And hopefully, that success is making them happy. There are some really, really rich people who are miserable. I've met them. But you know what? There are also people that it makes absolutely no difference how much money they make. I assure you that Elon Musk is not trying to make money so that he can have money. He stopped giving a crap about that a long time ago. For this cat, it's about his legacy. It's about his dreams. When he was a little kid, he used to think about going to Mars. Holy hell, the man's going to do it. The man's going to build a rocket. It's going to take men to Mars. You talk about living your dreams? How much time do you think that cat spends in his comfort zone? Do you know that when Tesla was getting ready to go under because the first Roadster wasn't working well, and the design team was saying, well, look, we're putting in 8 hours a day, he moved into the office. Literally. The guy brought a cot and put it in the office. Now, why would you do that? Well, because when the design team wants to walk out at the 8-hour day and their boss is setting up bed, you think those guys walked out at 8? No. Because when you see someone that is going after something, it's infectious. When you see someone that is being bold, it makes you want to be bold. It makes you walk into that room and look for gold. So the question is, what do you want? Why do you want it? And are you willing to be bold as all hell to get it? Because if you are, then you're going to be climbing that mountain. You are going to leave base camp and you are going to change your life. It could be, I want to lose 100 pounds. It could be, I want to live in my own home. It could be, I want to find a way to get the person that I love from one side of the planet to the other. It could be, I'm not taking no for an answer until I get all of those. Beautiful thing is that it's up to you. No one else is going to tell you what you want, why you want it, and what you're willing to do to get it. This whole series started with a show called Take Back Your Power. And a fist in the air. That's taking back your power. What do you want? Why do you want it? What are you willing to do to get it? If you answer those 3 questions in your head, then you have not listened to one friggin' word that I have said in the last 4 days. If you answer the question, why do I want this in my head? You can be an idiot. You'll never know it. He said, that doesn't make sense, Tommy. Oh, but it does. When you take that and you put it down your right arm or your left arm, right? And you put it onto paper and you write it all out, you engage so many parts of your brain that the stupid stuff goes and slaps you in the face. For real. All of a sudden you go, oh, wow, that's stupid. I want to do this for what? Oh, I'm an idiot. But if you live in your head, then the emotional part of your brain can tell you that you're a genius when you're an idiot. But you take it and you write it down. And then you set it down and you go to the kitchen and you grab a little lemonade. And then you come back and you pick up that piece of paper and you read what you want. You read why you want it and what you're willing to do to get it. And if you're being a jerk, it's going to smack you right in the head. If you're not willing to pick up a pen, then the lifeboat's not going to do a whole hell of a lot for you. It's not. You'll meet some great friends. You really will. These are some of the best people on the planet. You'll meet some really good friends. But you're not going to get where you want to get to. You're not going to be bold. You're not going to see your dreams come true. I'm not asking you to cut off a finger and mail it to Philly. I'm asking you to pick up a damn pen. Think you can pull that off? I'm going to be back. I'm always going to be back. I promise you. I'm not phoning this in. I'll be here in about 11 hours. Or 7th son. He usually corrects me if I'm wrong. I should be back in about 11 hours. And I will be bold and I won't be phoning it in. See this? Look at this idiot. That right there is a cat not willing to be in a basket. Oh, no, actually, that was the basket. Hold on. Squirrel, you uncooperative feline. Oh, I know. Don't complain. All right, people. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and this is a cat that should be in a basket but is not. What do you want? Why do you want it? And what are you willing to do to get it? We'll see you on the deck of the boat, people. Much love.